No one understood what really happened to Divya Bharti. Until years later the truth emerged. The blinding flash of cameras pierced the night, momentarily illuminating the crowded streets of Mumbai, a city that never slept, bustling with dreams and deceptions. Divya, over here. Is it true you're dating Vikram Sethi? The paparazzi shouted, their voices a cacophony of urgency and intrigue. What would you do if the world watched your every move, scrutinizing your life like a film reel, while you struggle to find your own narrative among the chaos? This was the reality for Divya Bharti, a name that resonated with millions, yet felt like a heavy stone around her neck. As she maneuvered through the throng, her heart raced, not from the thrill of fame, but from the suffocating pressure that accompanied it. With each flash, memories of her rise to stardom flooded her mind. The late nights of auditions, the relentless rehearsals, and the unyielding expectations that had transformed her from an ambitious girl into a celebrity trapped within a gilded cage. Divya was just 19, her striking features and infectious smile catapulting her into Bollywood's elite. Yet, beneath the surface of this glamorous facade lay a tumultuous sea of doubt and uncertainty. The city, with its vibrant colors and intoxicating energy, felt like a double-edged sword. Its allure was undeniable, but the shadows lurking behind its brilliance threatened to consume her. She turned her gaze toward her best friend, Ravi Mehra, who stood a few steps behind her, a concerned expression etched on his face. A budding filmmaker with dreams as big as Divya's, Ravi had been by her side since the beginning. He admired her tenacity but worried about the toll this lifestyle was taking on her. "Divya, we need to get out of here," he urged, his voice barely rising above the chaos. But the allure of fame was intoxicating, and Divya hesitated. It was the very world she had longed to be a part of, a world that promised success and admiration. Yet, as she felt the weight of the camera lenses on her, the reality of her situation struck hard. The rumors swirling around her, of relationships, scandals, and betrayals, were becoming more than just whispers. They threatened to define her. "Just a few more pictures," she called back to Ravi, though the excitement in her voice was laced with anxiety. The thrill of being in the spotlight was addictive, but at what cost? As the night wore on, the initial excitement began to fade, replaced by gnawing doubt. She caught sight of Vikram Sethi across the street, his charismatic demeanor drawing a crowd. A renowned producer with a reputation for bending the rules, he had recently approached Divya with offers that could elevate her career to new heights. But she couldn't shake the feeling that his intentions might not be purely professional. "Divya!" Vikram shouted, waving her over with a charming smile that was both inviting and unsettling. "Come join us. We're discussing your next big project." Ravi's expression darkened, and he stepped closer to Divya. "You know, Divya, you don't have to do this. You've worked hard to get here. Don't let anyone pressure you into compromising who you are," he cautioned, concern etched on his brow. Divya felt a pang of guilt at his words, a reminder of the values her mother, Anjali Kapoor, had instilled in her. Anjali was fiercely protective, often expressing her fears about the industry and its relentless pursuit of fame. "This life isn't what it seems, Divya," she would often say, her voice laced with worry. "You have to stay true to yourself." But the allure of success was like a siren's call, and Divya felt herself drawn towards Vikram and a promise of new opportunities. She was torn between her ambition and her instincts, a conflict that was beginning to feel insurmountable. The flashing lights continued, and with each burst, Divya felt her heart sink deeper into uncertainty. What if I just said yes? The thought flickered in her mind like an unwelcome shadow. As she stood on the precipice of a decision that could change everything, the pressure began to mount. Each snapshot taken by the eager photographers felt like a reminder of what she stood to lose: her values, her friendships, her very identity. The vibrant streets of Mumbai, filled with life and possibility, suddenly felt stifling. The weight of expectations loomed over her, pressing down like the humid air that filled the city. Divya took a deep breath, searching for clarity amidst the chaos. "Maybe I need to talk to my mother," she thought. Anjali had always been her anchor, grounding her in a world that often felt like it was spiraling out of control. But would Anjali understand the pressures Divya faced? Would she see how close Divya was to her dreams? As the night unfolded, Questions raced through her mind. Was she ready to face the truth about herself and the industry that adored her? The thought was both liberating and terrifying. In that moment, surrounded by the flashing lights and the murmurs of the crowd, Divya realized that her journey was only just beginning, one filled with choices that would define her, for better or worse. And as she stood at the crossroads of ambition and integrity, one thing was clear: the road ahead would be anything but easy. With a final glance at Ravi, whose expression mirrored her own turmoil, Divya made a choice. She would confront the shadows of her life, not just for herself, but for those who believed in her. The truth was waiting to emerge, and she was determined to uncover it, no matter where it led. The blinding flash of cameras pierced the night, momentarily illuminating the crowded streets of Mumbai, a city that never slept, bustling with dreams and deceptions. "Divya, over here. Is it true you're dating Vikram Sethi?" The paparazzi shouted, their voices a cacophony of urgency and intrigue. What would you do if the world watched your every move, scrutinizing your life like a film reel, while you struggle to find your own narrative among the chaos? This was the reality for Divya Bharti, a promising actress whose ascent in the Bollywood industry was nothing short of meteoric. But beneath the glitz and glamour lay a profound struggle, a constant battle against the weight of expectations and the insatiable appetite of fame. As I hurried past the throng, my heart raced, not just from the adrenaline but from a gnawing sense of pressure. I could feel the eyes of the crowd on me, their anticipation a heavy cloak around my shoulders. In that moment, I craved solace, a reprieve from the suffocating scrutiny. I was no longer just Divya, the girl with dreams. I was Divya Bharti, the star, and the world demanded perfection. Later that evening, I found myself at an extravagant party thrown by Vikram Sethi, a name that echoed through the industry, a powerful producer with an enigmatic charm. The venue was a lavish mansion, adorned with twinkling lights and the hum of laughter and music that seemed to drown out the worries of the outside world. As I entered, I tried to shake off the feeling of unease that clung to me like a shadow. "Divya, you made it." Vikram's voice boomed over the music as he approached me, his smile wide and inviting. "I was hoping you would come. We need to talk about your next project." "Thank you for the invitation," I replied, forcing a smile as I scanned the room, hoping to catch a glimpse of Ravi. My best friend had always been my anchor, the one person who understood the pressures of this world. But tonight, he was nowhere to be seen. "Come on, let me introduce you to some people," Vikram insisted, guiding me through the crowd. I tried to keep my composure, but the laughter around me felt hollow, as if everyone was playing a part in a grand performance. As the night wore on, Vikram's charm was hard to resist. He talked about the film industry, the potential of my star power, and how I could achieve heights I had only dreamed of. "I see something special in you, Divya," he said, his gaze penetrating. "With the right connections, we can create magic." I felt a flutter of excitement mixed with a twinge of apprehension. What did he truly want from me? I'd heard the rumors, the whispered stories of how he operated, but the lure of success was intoxicating. I wanted to prove myself, to show everyone that I wasn't just a young actress but a force to be reckoned with. "Divya, are you okay?" A familiar voice broke through my thoughts. It was Ravi, his brow furrowed with concern. "I've been looking for you. You shouldn't be alone with him." "Ravi, it's fine. He's just being friendly." I brushed off his concern, but I could see the tension in his eyes. "Friendly? You call that friendly?" he challenged, glancing at Vikram, who was now engaged in a conversation with a group of industry elites. "You know his reputation. He's not someone you want to get too close to." "Stop it, Ravi. I need this opportunity. You don't understand the pressure I'm under," I snapped, frustration bubbling to the surface. "I can't keep living in the shadows, waiting for my moment while others pass me by." Ravi sighed, his expression softening. "I do understand, Divya. But this isn't the right way. You're worth so much more than his hollow promises." Before I could respond, the music shifted, and Vikram called me back over. "Divya, come join us for a toast," he beckoned, a glass raised in the air. I hesitated, caught between the loyalty of my friend and the allure of the life I so desperately wanted to claim. As I joined Vikram and the others, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being pulled into a web I might not be able to escape. The atmosphere turned electric as glasses clinked and laughter erupted, but inside, I felt a sense of foreboding. The following weeks were a blur of filming, parties, and mounting pressure. Each day, I found myself drifting further from Ravi, who was becoming increasingly worried about my choices. His calls went unanswered, and our once regular coffee catch-ups dwindled to silence. I was too busy chasing the dream, too engrossed in the whirlwind of my rising career to notice the cracks forming in my relationships. Then came the scandal. It started innocently enough, a rumor in a gossip column about my late nights with Vikram, suggesting something far more scandalous than a professional relationship. I was taken aback, but then I saw the headlines erupting across social media. Divya Bharti and Vikram Sethi. Is it more than just business? The article screamed, accompanied by images of us leaving parties together, their captions twisted to suggest a romance fraught with scandal. My heart sunk. How could this happen? I had never crossed that line with Vikram, but the narrative was already out there, and it wasn't long before the industry began to turn on me. My phone buzzed incessantly with calls from my mother, Anjali, her voice trembling with concern. Divya, I saw the papers. You need to be careful. This is not just gossip. It could ruin you, she pleaded, her protective instincts kicking in. I know, Mom, but it's just a rumor. I can handle this, I replied, but inside, I felt the walls closing in. Ravi tried to reach out as well, but I was too consumed by the chaos around me to listen. I had become a target, and every negative headline felt like a dagger. The whispers followed me everywhere, the glances from industry peers now tinged with judgment. One evening, as I scrolled through social media, my heart raced when I stumbled upon a post that made my blood run cold. It was a video clip taken at a party, showing me laughing with Vikram, the caption suggesting that I was oblivious to the consequences of my actions. The comments were brutal, a flood of negativity that felt like a tidal wave crashing over me. She's just another starlet looking for attention, one comment read. Vikram's just using her, another chimed in. The truth was, I was drowning. I didn't know who to trust, and the pressure was suffocating. I found myself isolating more, retreating into the confines of my room, my once vibrant spirit dimming under the weight of it all. I felt betrayed by the very industry that had promised me glory, and as the days turned into weeks, I began to wonder if chasing this dream was worth the cost. Ravi finally confronted me one afternoon, his eyes filled with a mix of anger and concern. Divya, you're not the same. You're letting this world change you, and it's breaking my heart. You need to wake up before it's too late. Stop judging me, Ravi. I snapped back, tears brimming in my eyes. You don't know what it's like to be in my shoes. You don't know how it feels to have everything you've worked for hanging by a thread. He stepped closer, his voice softening. I'm not judging you. I'm worried. This isn't just about you anymore. You're affecting everyone around you. Your mother is scared, and I can't stand by and watch you spiral like this. I looked away, guilt washing over me. I had pushed everyone away, and the realization hit me like a punch to the gut. I was losing the people who mattered most, all for a fleeting dream that was slipping through my fingers. But a part of me was unwilling to let go. I had come too far, and the allure of success still beckoned me. I couldn't back down now, not when I was so close to breaking through. As I stood there, caught in a tempest of emotions, I felt a renewed sense of determination wash over me. I would confront the rumors head-on. I would take control of my narrative, no matter what it took. But little did I know, the path ahead would be filled with unexpected challenges, and the true nature of the industry I was desperate to conquer would soon reveal itself in ways I had never imagined. What would you do if you found yourself in Divya's shoes? Can ambition sometimes blind us to the reality of our choices? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're intrigued by Divya's journey, don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Your support means the world to us as we continue to unravel this complex tale of fame and the pursuit of dreams. The neon lights of Mumbai flickered like restless spirits, casting an otherworldly glow over the bustling streets. The noise of the city beat like a drum, a relentless reminder of the life Divya Bharti had chosen. She stood on the set of her latest film, the cameras rolling, But behind the facade of the bright lights and scripted lines, her heart felt heavy, burdened by the weight of expectations and a shadow of looming threats. Cut. That was great, Divya. The director's words echoed in her ears, but they felt hollow. She forced a smile, her cheeks aching from the effort, and nodded in acknowledgement. Yet, inside her, a storm raged, one that threatened to consume her whole. Ravi had been watching from the sidelines, his brow furrowed with concern. He knew this wasn't just about acting anymore, it was about survival. The pressures of the industry had transformed Divya, pulling her deeper into a world where reality blurred with illusion. She was losing herself, and he could do nothing but hope she would find her way back. As the crew began to set up for the next scene, Ravi approached her, his voice low and urgent. Divya, can we talk? I'm worried about you. She turned to him, her eyes flashing with a mixture of irritation and pain. What's there to talk about, Ravi? I'm fine. But even to her own ears, the words rang false, a thin veneer over a growing chasm of despair. Fine? You call this fine? He gestured around them, to the bright lights, the cameras, and the throngs of people who adored her yet knew nothing of her struggle. You're not yourself anymore. You're in over your head with Vikram, and you know it. At the mention of Vikram Sethi, her heart sunk. The powerful producer had captivated her with promises of fame and success, yet the allure of his charm was starting to tarnish. She felt trapped, caught between the glittering world of Bollywood and the haunting whispers of betrayal. I can handle it, Ravi. You don't understand. Oh, I understand more than you think. You may be playing the role of a star, but you're losing the role of Divya Bharti. He pleaded, desperation lacing his words. You need to be careful. I've heard things about him. Things that could ruin you. The tension between them crackled like electricity, her defenses rising. What do you know? What have you heard? Ravi hesitated, weighing his words. I know he's been with other actresses. And they've, well, let's just say they haven't come out unscathed. I don't want you to be another victim. Her heart raced as she processed his words. Could Vikram be capable of such manipulation? She had seen his charm work wonders, but could it really mask a darker intention? Divya shook her head, unwilling to entertain the thought. You're being paranoid. Vikram believes in me. He's going to help me. Help you or use you. Ravi's voice was strained. You're not just a project to him, Divya. You're a prize. And once he's done, he'll toss you aside like everyone else. With that, the tension reached a boiling point. Ravi, stop. You're my best friend, but you're not in my shoes. You don't know what it's like to be me. Her frustration bubbled over, tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. I'm fighting for something real here. Suddenly, the crew was alerted that a video had gone viral. The atmosphere shifted as murmurs spread like wildfire. The director's voice cut through the tension, calling for everyone's attention. We've just received news that a video about Vikram has been released online. Everyone, let's take a break. Divya's heart dropped. What could it be? She glanced at Ravi, who was already pulling out his phone. Let me see, she urged, desperate for clarity. As they huddled together, the video began to play. It was grainy but unmistakable. Vikram was caught on camera in a conversation with another producer, discussing how he could manipulate rising stars like Divya into compromising situations to get what he wanted, a phrase that sent chills down her spine. No, Divya gasped, her pulse quickening. This can't be real. But the expressions on Vikram's face, the condescension laced in his words, there was no denying it. Ravi's hand tightened around her shoulder. You need to confront him, Divya. You can't let this slide. This is your life. I can't just confront him. He'll ruin me. He has power. Her voice trembled, fear clawing at her throat. But deep down, a fire ignited. This was the moment she had been waiting for, the truth she had been blind to. No more running. I'll confront him. The decision hung in the air, heavy with implications. Divya felt, for the first time in months, a sense of clarity. She would not be a pawn in Vikram's game any longer. The day of the confrontation arrived, and Divya felt a mixture of dread and determination. She stood outside Vikram's lavish office, the city's chaos muted by the walls that surrounded her. The gleaming facade of success felt like a prison, but she was ready to break free. As she entered, Vikram looked up from his desk, a smile that didn't reach his eyes spreading across his face. Divya, what a pleasant surprise. I was just thinking about you. She took a deep breath, her stance firm. I want to talk to you about the video. His expression shifted, the facade cracking. What video? Don't play coy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I saw it, Vikram. I know what you said. Her voice was steady, though inside, her heart raced. He leaned back in his chair, a smirk creeping onto his lips. Oh, that? You shouldn't believe everything you see online, Divya. You know how the media twists things. Twists? You were caught on camera, Vikram. You think I'm going to let you manipulate me? Use me. Her voice rose, fueled by a mixture of anger and fear. Divya, you're being dramatic. This is how the industry works. You're just too naive to understand, he replied, his tone condescending, as if she were a child throwing a tantrum. Naive? I've been in this world long enough to see through your lies. I won't let you control my life any longer. The air thickened with tension, and for a moment, Vikram's mask slipped, revealing a glimpse of the man behind the curtain. You think you can speak to me this way? You're nothing without me. I made you. His words sliced through her, but instead of retreating, she stepped closer, her resolve hardening. No, Vikram. You didn't make me. I made myself. And if you think you can ruin me, you have another thing coming. The confrontation escalated, voices rising, emotions spilling over. Divya's heart pounded as she stood her ground, facing the man who had once seemed so powerful. I will expose you for who you really are. I won't let you take my career or my life. In that moment, she felt liberated, empowered in a way she hadn't felt in years. The fear that had once paralyzed her began to fade, replaced by fierce determination to reclaim her narrative. As she turned to leave, she caught a glimpse of his expression, anger mixed with something else, something calculating. You think this is over? You have no idea what I'm capable of. Divya paused, her hand on the door. I'm ready to find out. And with that, she stepped out into the chaos of Mumbai, the weight of the world on her shoulders but her heart lighter than it had been in years. She was ready to face whatever came next, ready to take back her life, her story. In the days that followed, the fallout of her confrontation rippled through the industry. News outlets picked up the story of Divya Bharti standing up to Vikram Sethi, and the public response was overwhelmingly supportive. But as she basked in this newfound strength, a nagging doubt crept into her mind. Was this really the end? Or just the beginning of a deeper battle? As she navigated through interviews and public appearances, she felt the pressure mount once again. The fame she had once craved now felt like a double-edged sword. She needed to be vigilant. The truth had emerged, but the game was far from over. And as she stared at her reflection in the mirror, she couldn't shake the feeling that the true test was yet to come, the moment when she would have to confront not just Vikram, but her own fears, choices, and the very essence of who she was. Little did she know, the real battle was just beginning. The blinding flashes of cameras faded as the echoes of the confrontation with Vikram Sethi reverberated in Divya's mind. Standing before the gathered press, anger and fear intertwined in her chest, she had finally spoken her truth. But now, with the adrenaline wearing off, the weight of her actions settled heavily upon her shoulders. The aftermath of her bold declaration unfolded quickly. Media outlets erupted, dissecting every word she had uttered, every expression on her face. The public's response was a mix of support and skepticism, but the truth about Vikram had emerged. His manipulation, once hidden in the shadows, was now glaringly obvious. However, this newfound clarity brought its own set of challenges. Divya's phone buzzed incessantly with messages, some from fans cheering her bravery, others from acquaintances questioning her sanity. Yet, amidst the chaos, one message stood out. Ravi, I'm proud of you, Divya. Let's talk. The warmth of his words wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. Divya hadn't realized just how lonely she had become in her pursuit of fame, distancing herself from the very people who cared for her. The realization hit her hard. She had sacrificed genuine connections for a facade so fragile it could crumble with the slightest breeze. That evening, she met Ravi at their favorite cafe, a place that held countless memories of laughter and dreams shared over cups of steaming chai. As she entered, she spotted him already seated, his expression a mix of concern and relief. "Divya," he greeted, standing up to embrace her. "I saw what you did. It took guts." "Did it?" Divya replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Because it feels like I just set off a bomb in my life." Ravi nodded, his eyes softening. "Sometimes, we need to blow things up to rebuild. You've been carrying a heavy burden, Divya. You don't have to do it alone." The conversation flowed easily, weaving through memories of their childhood, the struggles of adulthood, and dreams that felt both distant and attainable. With every word, Divya felt the weight lifting, the chains of expectation loosening their grip. "I've been so caught up in this idea of success," Divya confessed, her voice trembling. "I thought I had to prove myself, that I had to be this perfect version of me. I lost sight of who I really am." "And who is that?" Ravi asked gently. Divya smiled, a genuine smile that she hadn't worn in a long time. "I'm just a girl from Mumbai who loves acting, who wants to tell stories that matter. I want to be true to myself, to make choices that reflect my values, not someone else's agenda." Ravi beamed, his pride evident. "That's the Divya I've always known. The one who shines brightest when she's authentic." In the weeks that followed, Divya began to rebuild her life. She took a step back from the whirlwind of parties and superficial relationships, focusing instead on the projects that truly inspired her. She connected with young filmmakers and writers, eager to explore meaningful stories that resonated with her soul. Her relationship with her mother, Anjali, also began to mend. Anjali had watched her daughter from the sidelines, her heart breaking as Divya spiraled deeper into the trappings of fame. Divya reached out, sharing her journey of self-discovery. They talked openly about their fears and dreams, acknowledging the pressures that had driven a wedge between them. One evening, as they sat together at home, Divya turned to her mother. "I'm sorry for pushing you away, Mom. I was so caught up in trying to please everyone, I forgot to listen to the people who truly cared." Anjali's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I only wanted to protect you, Divya. The world can be harsh, but I'm proud of the woman you're becoming." Their bond rekindled. Divya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She used her platform not just to promote herself, but to advocate for mental health awareness in the film industry. She spoke candidly about her struggles and the importance of seeking help, becoming a voice for those who felt silenced by the demands of fame. As she stepped onto a stage at a mental health awareness event, Divya felt the familiar rush of nerves, but this time, they were accompanied by a sense of empowerment. She no longer sought validation from the flashing cameras or the whispers of the crowd. Instead, she stood proudly, ready to share her story. "Fame can be a double-edged sword," she began, her voice steady. "It can open doors, but it can also trap you in a world that doesn't reflect who you are. I learned that the truest success comes from being authentic, from embracing our vulnerabilities and seeking support when we need it." As the audience erupted in applause, Divya knew she was exactly where she belonged. She had embraced her journey, flaws and all. And in doing so, she had found her voice. The real Divya Bharti was emerging, stronger and more resilient than ever before. As the event concluded, Divya felt a weight lift off her shoulders. The journey ahead wasn't without challenges, but she was ready to face them, armed with the knowledge that she was not alone. And that's where you, the viewer, come in. Have you ever felt the pressure to conform to someone else's expectations? What steps did you take to reclaim your authenticity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found Divya's story inspiring, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that resonate with the heart. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on our next journey into the lives of those who fought their battles and emerged victorious. Remember, your voice matters, and together, we can lift each other up. As the credits rolled, Divya stood on the edge of a new beginning, ready to write her own narrative, one filled with truth, courage, and hope. The light of the cameras no longer blinded her. Instead, they illuminated the path ahead, a journey she was finally ready to embrace.